Good morning, good evening. Welcome, Opulence Nation. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello, my dear.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Thank you. David had just problem with the connection, so he's gonna retry again.
Okay.
Yes.
How
Let
are
me
you guys
see.
doing with your snowstorm?
Oh my goodness. Horrible Sunday evening. I didn't leave the house, but Monday I was working, so there was a lot of shovel to do.
Well, for
Eh,
our fellow Canadians, stay safe. We've had so much snow.
yes.
And
A
a good
lot of
night and
snow.
good morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me just do the biosynthesis. Okay, we have our second amazing guest, SVP Sanaz, in the call. So Sanaz Human, SVP in her late 20s, Sanaz made a big decision to venture into the direct sell industry. With her strong work ethic, determination, unparalleled skills, she rose to become a top producer, quickly gaining recognition for her exceptional performance, her influence and impact in the direct sell marketing field have earned her widespread recognition. She was honored as the Luxury Designer of the Year by Viva International, celebrated in the esteemed Oprah Winfrey magazine, and much more. At Opulence Global, Sanaz oversees distribution, manufacturing, and international negotiation, and all global operations. Her ability to inspire others in the health, beauty, fashion sector is nothing short of remarkable. Sanaz SVP takes great pride in mentoring entrepreneurs. Her visionary approach and mentorship have empowered countless individuals to achieve their own success stories. As a big influence in the industry, SVP Sanaz continues to set new benchmark and inspire others to strive for greatness. Her unwavering dedication, unmatched talent, relentless pursuit of excellence make her a true icon in the world of business and entrepreneurship. So, Sanaz SVP, welcome to the call.
Thank you so very much. A good night, a good morning, a good afternoon to everybody. Hello, everyone. It has been a beautiful weekend here in Toronto. It was a long weekend. And I got to tell you all, for those of you who do not live in Canada or haven't been in Toronto, or actually, I should say Ontario, we got a huge dump of snow. And I think it was all across Canada. So I hope everyone is staying safe, enjoying the weather. I am so excited to be on. Today, our CEO and myself, we spent some extensive time in the morning, kind of strategizing, talking, and speaking about, what is to come for this year. And we are so excited about all the amazing developments that are happening, about all the things that are sort of brewing behind the scenes. And first of all, I know David was on a little bit earlier, and we'll wait to see if he's able to jump back on. Sometimes there's challenges, and I know internet was a little bit down here in Toronto as well today. But I want to tell you a little bit of an update, sort of some inside scoop, as you call it. We were talking about, our showroom and when it's going to open, and of course, we are on pins and needles to get everything kind of opened up, but we are in the midst of renovations and we still haven't finished, and our renovations are taking forever, and we are so anxious to kind of get everything ready so we can do our grand launch. It will be for sure this spring. So we promise it's in the spring. It's not going to be delayed any more longer than that. But we were talking about some really cool implementations that we're going to be doing in the spring, and all the things that we're going to be sort of updating. You see, the economy changes, and we've seen how the economy is changing. Inflation is at the highest. And with all the global changes that are happening, a great company is always ahead of that curve and always ahead of that trend. And stability is really important. Stability in products, stability in compensation plans, stability in work ethics. And that's something at Opulence we strive to give each and every single one of you, so that you can be able to grow and build and be able to expand and spread your wings. So one thing that we're going to be doing is that the implementation that we're going to do once we launch our amazing forensic seminar next week. We're so excited. If you are coming into Toronto, we look so forward to welcoming you. I'm so glad that the snowstorm was this weekend, not next weekend, because all those in attendance will have something special that they're going to receive. We're going to be doing a promotion, and it is only applicable to the ones in attendance that are registered. So if you were one of those people that bought 10 tickets and you didn't register the name of the person who bought a ticket from you, then they're not going to be able to take advantage of the promotion. So I'm giving you a last chance to let you know that whoever is in attendance of this conference, whether in person or virtual, is going to get and be a part of this incredible promotion. Okay. So I hope you guys are ready, because, we are going to become very event driven this year. We're going to become very training driven this year. We're going to become knowledge driven this year. We want to make all of you absolute experts in your field and develop the best entrepreneur that you can be, whether it's through our products, whether it's through our business, whether it's through entrepreneurship. And I'm going to be doing a segment on entrepreneurship and the mindset. Some of you have done my mental warrior training. I'm going to be doing entrepreneurial training. We're going to get into a lot of the nitty gritty. The Forensic Networker will change your life forever. If you've never been a part of the Forensic Networker, it will change you. It will revamp you. It will shake you. It will bring you to a different level. And I am so, so excited. So this upcoming weekend will not only be in regards to, of course, the forensic seminar training, which is the most advanced training that was written 30 years ago, and our CEO has updated it over time. But it's going to be one of the fundamental basics for all of you to be able to grow and expand your business. So make sure, if you haven't bought your ticket, you buy it. You don't want to lose out on this promotion. It's going to be epic, and I am so excited. All right, I see David is on. Good night, David, to you. How you doing?
I think it's better. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
they couldn't hear me. I've been resetting everything to try and get
No
this.
worries.
So my
I
apologies to everyone.
No worries. I covered some inside scoop just getting ready for you, because
Okay.
tonight we want to talk a lot about viruses and diseases that are out in the world. And I want to talk a lot about that tonight, because we know that there is a lot of flus, viruses, that are out in the market, that are in the global spectrum. And they're spreading like wildfire, David. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this, because when we came up with Fountain of Life was that revolutionary product that had such an antibacterial element to it. And so people that were feeling a little bit of cold, or they were getting a sniffle, or they were getting an earache or throat ache, or they felt like they were having chest infections, they learned to be able to utilize it in different ways, whether it was like rubbing it into the chest topically, or rubbing it onto the throat. And of course, being able to do all the different things of, taking the drops, going from 5 drops to 10 drops to 30 drops to 50 drops to now 70 drops. Talk to me about our incredible Fountain of Life. Is there a dose that's too much? And let's go to the basics a little bit tonight. Is this a medicine? Is this, why does it say medicinal value on it? And tell us a little bit of that background, because I want all of our viewers tonight to hear sort of that nitty gritty and maybe train the brand new ones.
Sure. Yeah, let me dispel a couple things here. Number one, it's not a medicine. Okay, but it is a natural health product according to Health Canada. And what is a natural health product? A natural health product is deemed something that is that impacts our health, and it is essentially one level below that of a drug. So they've created this level for vitamins, a lot of different things, to be honest with you. Even hand sanitizers are listed either as a drug, if you have benzalkonium chloride, or an alcohol-based product is considered um, a natural health product because it impacts our health. So, although it says medicinal ingredient on the label, that is a Health Canada standard. That is the only country, we're the only country in the world that demands that. So we have medicinal and non-medicinal ingredients in there. We have to list it that way. And really, more accurately, it'd be what are the active ingredients and what are the inactive ingredients, like fragrances, whatever you might add to a product. So please, when you see that, and if you're in a country and someone's, outside of Canada, you can explain it quite simply and say that's a Health Canada regulation. It is not a medicine. It is a supplement. It is a replacement for lignans no longer in our food. It is an antioxidant, according to what Health Canada allows us to say, and I think that'll be changing in time. But it is a very, very powerful antioxidant, and how it works is that in its raw form, it is a plant lignan, 7-hydroxymethyresinol, and then when we ingest it, we take this in and it converts in the small intestine to what we call enterolactone. And there's another mechanism when we, ingest it sublingually, that's under the tongue. But again, it's still converted to enterolactone in the body. That's the important thing. And what is enterolactone? Enterolactone is an anti-cancer, anti-metastatic form of an antioxidant that's a mammalian lignin in our body that is extremely, extremely powerful. But our levels, unfortunately, in modern society are very, very low. And we have to recognize that because the average person intakes less than 1 milligram of lignans, plant lignans per day. And they recommend 50 to 100 times that amount. And that's where a product like Fountain of Life does come into play because it quite elegantly and easily supplements the lignans that are no longer in our diets. Our forefathers were actually luckier because they had a high lignan count in their wheats and nuts and grains, everything that they were ingesting at that point. And retrospective studies have shown that societies taking in higher lignans. I know this is an unusual name, but it is lignans. It's not a foreign uh, word. So I just want to remind people that. But societies with a higher lignan intake uh, had 30% less incidences of cancer, 30% less incidence of cardiovascular disease. So it is very, very significant. And that study was done over 30 years. This is not a study that was done over like 100 people over a couple of months. This is a 30-year study, and they realized that lignans are very important in the diet. And as we moved forward, we found out, anecdotally, the number of people that use Fountain of Life uh, really have had some remarkable stories. Like if you check our Facebook page, and I can't go through them all, but there's some very touching stories in there that were shared by people that were using Fountain of Life. Now, Fountain of Life is essentially non-toxic. And I want to be clear about that because we started, and why did we start with this amount of, 5 drops, and then we said 10 drops, and sort of a moving target in that way. And what happened was we went on what our researchers thought was the quote unquote ideal amount. They thought maybe it was 1 drop per every 10 kilos of weight. That's what they assumed at that point. But in 2018, it all changed because a group led by Dr. Biasiato came out and said, well, no, you'd have to take in a lot more. And it was realistically, you know, a significant amount more of, the 7-HMR lignin in our product. And so all of a sudden people are taking full droppers of it, and they're seeing a difference. You know, instead of 10 drops over the day, it's like 30 drops minimum per day to receive some benefit from the product. And the benefit was they witnessed over time, meaning that a lot of people have issues that don't happen overnight. So it occurred, they started seeing results at, day 30, and then market results at day 60. So, and what are some of the results? It was lower LDLs, lower low density lipoproteins, increased levels of high density lipoproteins, lower fatty deposits on the liver, less fat, visceral fat production in the body, less insulin resistance, lower blood pressure. All these things came together, and the byproduct was, some of the subjects lost weight. But I think it was quite astounding. It was quite remarkable to see the power of this product at this many drops. Now, people
David,
say, well,
sorry, just before you go, can I just
yeah,
rewind a little bit? Because
sure.
I think you touched on something that we hear a lot about in our society. First of all, we know that disease is on the rise. We know that bacteria is on the rise. We know that many different flus and viruses and all that kind of stuff is really taking a toll on society. And post pandemic, we heard about some respiratory disease that was going to come out. That was one of the reasons why we designed Divine. It was really created to be able to really work on the immune system, help out. But I want to go back to our 30-year study that we've done on lignans, because that's really important. Because we know the word cancer is used a lot in every family. Someone suffering from some sort of cancer. Heart disease is on the rise. And when we talk about, I want everyone to pay attention to this, because when we talk in this retrospective study that taking a lignin that's in your fountain of life, that it could reduce down by 30%, and of course, heart disease, 30%. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. This is massive if you really think about it. We've become so used to Fountain of Life doing so many different things that we're kind of like, oh yeah, 30% less cancer. I mean, that is huge. How many of you on this call know of someone who's got some sort of cancer or battling or battled? I can promise you, every single person on this call.
Yeah.
All of us. So David, I want to touch base on that a little bit more before we move on.
Okay. Well, it's really important, I think, for people to understand the power of this because, cancer, and for the most part, for many people, um, is something that occurs over time, and what's happened is that free radical activity, and what are free radicals from? They're from um, pesticides, they're from pollution, smoking, uh, alcohol. There's so many cause, stress can cause it, there's all sorts of things. Do we need free radicals? Yes, we do. But an overabundance in it creates problems. And why is that? Because as we age, we lose our natural antioxidants like glutathione, that the levels start tapering off. And that's really unfortunate because that protects us when we're young. But as we grow older, we start seeing some market changes. And over time, these free radicals that attack our body, uh, and what they're doing is it's going to sound really, innocuous, but free radicals are molecules missing an electron. So what they do is bombard us, and they steal an electron from a healthy cell. And you think, well, big deal. Well, yeah, it is a big deal because over time that can cause a change in the DNA, and that could cause, uncontrolled growth. Uncontrolled growth is cancer. The opposite of cancer is actually death, which is sort of weird. And what they mean by that is, cancer cells proliferate, continue to proliferate until it kills the host, unfortunately. So, that's what they mean by the opposite of death is cancer. However, having said that, what lignins do and what lignins can do is they can loan that free radical that electron it needs, the electron it is looking for, without itself becoming a free radical. And that's an important step because otherwise it's a cascading thing, chain going downwards, because every time one cell steals an electron, then another cell will steal an electron. It just keeps going. Whereas lignins in our system, they will loan that electron without becoming a free radical. And it stops there. So it's very important to have lignins in our diet. And they're discovering that now. It's something they didn't realize for the longest time how important lignins were. And we're fortunate because we do have fountain of life. And fountain of life was discovered all by accident. They noticed that the Norwegian spruce, they had a byproduct from the stem heartwood, and it simply did not rot. It was just placed aside and it never rotted. And the researchers were curious about that, and they took a slice, put it in the freezer, and they forgot all about it. But one of their wives decided to clean out the freezer one day and said, "Do something with it." And they did research it, and discovered it had an incredible level of lignin and lignin activity, and that explained why the Norwegian spruce was such a strong plant growing in the harshest conditions. And so as they started extracting that lignin from it, they applied it first into areas like sunscreens. And why sunscreens? Because in areas like Australia and New Zealand, they placed it in there to reduce free radical activity on the skin, to neutralize the free radicals. And they were doing that for years.
Sorry, I want to,
Yeah.
there's some important stuff that you're covering, and I want to reiterate it again. Again, if you're brand new in our company or you've been around for a couple of months, this is really important for you to know. The scientist that we're working with is the one who, it's actually, the tree or the plant was up in his cottage. He's also a boater. So, in the boating and where his cottage is, actually, our CEO and I have had the pleasure of going there and visiting him and his family and kind of seeing everything back in the day, like 8 years ago. And the story of the discovery of the Norwegian spruce tree that we have converted into a product called the Fountain of Life is a very unique product. So there is, and I'm sure that over time people are going to try to duplicate us. It is never going to be the same product because we have world exclusivity on this product, and it is doing amazing things. Now, before we created it into a supplement, David, this scientific team, and as well as our very flawless scientists, they were eating this spruce tree, and you were the one who kind of brought the story to us and saying, and I said, David, these guys are really young. Like, they look pretty good for their age. And you said, yeah, they're actually using the product. And I said, well, can we use the product? You said, no, well, it's not legal because you have to spend money. You have to get it registered. And our CEO took it upon himself to go out there and to register this product, spend millions of dollars to be able to build the foundation for us to be able to eat this product and to do the research to make sure there was no toxicity. And just to kind of reiterate what David said at the beginning, the reason that we originally put 5 drops, because 5 drops is good based on a 100-pound person to maintain your well-being. But then we realized that by taking more of it, then you could do better. And, it will help you in weight loss. It will help you in inflammation. It will help in the process of if someone has got cancer cells developing, it will stop that mutation. It stops the duplication of mutation and so here we are today, 7 years later. We just celebrated our 7-year anniversary on this, David. And I cannot believe it's been 7 years that we have been distributing the Fountain of Life. All of you should be so incredibly proud of how long we've come and the amount of research that we've done and the amount of hoops that we've had to go through in order to be here. We're building, we're fighting, we're growing. We've sold over 1 million bottles. We've changed so many lives. We've taken away the pain of so many. And it's been such a blessing. So I just want to share that, David, before you continue. Sorry to interrupt you, but I thought,
No, that's okay.
I think this is important because, I remember the first time you said lignin, I went, Liga what? because I thought you meant ligament in our body. And most people don't know what's a lignin. So what's a lignin, David?
Yeah, that's an interesting word. When I met Dr. A, he's the one that discovered it. It was 2012, and he was in town, and I met him through an associate, and we had lunch together. And he kept talking about lignans, and he's Finnish, and so he's got a Finnish accent. And so I'm sitting there. I took a note because I'm thinking I don't understand a word this man's saying. It must be a Finnish word. I've never heard this term before. He kept saying lignin. You got to take lignans. And I thought, okay, I'll look this up afterwards. I'm not going to be ignorant and say, I don't understand the word you're saying. I understood everything else he's talking about, like coenzyme A, all these interactions that I was familiar with, but I did not understand that. And so, when we were talking about this product, it was interesting because at that point, this is 2012, and he said to me that he had some remarkable stories, stories that really, I didn't know how to react at that point because cancer had touched me so many times in my family. And I thought, well, okay, I'm willing to listen. And he said one of his friends called him up, and he had spleen cancer. And I never heard of spleen cancer before. And he said, well, it's like a 1 in a million type of diseases. And I said, what did doctors tell him? They said, well, the doctor said, go home, pack up your bag, get your papers in order because you have about 2 weeks to live. And of course, his friend was very upset. They came over and he looked at this extract that's now Fountain of Life. And he says, do you mind if I just try that? Because he said, I have nothing else. I have nothing else that can help me at this point. So of course, he packaged it off and he started taking 10 drops. That's how it started, 10 drops a day. He was taking 10 drops a day. And the thing is that he continues to live. So he did not pass away after 2 weeks. He could, and so at that point in 2012, I said to him, "How did your friend do?" He said, "Well, no, he's still alive. He's doing fine." And we started talking about the concept of having cancer but living with cancer. And he says they're starting to rethink that. And so the next question, my next question, obviously was, "What the heck are you doing? Just putting it in sunscreens?" I said, "Why don't you have this on the world market?" And his answer is really simple. He says, I cannot convince any government that you can ingest and eat a spruce tree. He says, it's from the spruce. He says, you cannot eat a tree. And I said, well, that's not true, obviously. He says, I don't know how to convince him. I've been running at this for years and I can't convince him. And the way I approached this was really simple. I told him if I ever found the right vehicle for him, would you be interested in opening that door and seeing if we can bring it to market? He says, of course, I'd like to do that. And so, spin it forward to 2017, and I knew the formulator of the FERI Flawless line. He did an incredible job, and I met Ramin and Sanaz. We had a nice conversation, and we talked about things, and I came on board to help do a few things in registrations with the FERI Flawless line, and then the conversation went around to the product we know as Fountain of Life because the formulator was using it. Actually, I was using it for my knees, and there's a handful of people that were using the product, including the doctor himself. So and I told Ramin and Sanaz the power of this product anecdotally, quite frankly, at that point, but I said it seems to have some legs. And so we investigated further. They're interested, and we pulled up some papers and everything like that. And we had Dr. A come to speak to Ramin and Sanaz, and we moved forward on that. And it took a while because, again, we had to convince Health Canada, that was our first target, that you can ingest a spruce tree. And was that easy? No, absolutely not. They kept saying, well, I don't know whether you can do that or not. and they didn't want to listen. And Health Canada is a very difficult agency to work with, to say the least, because I deal with them all the time. However, we managed to get through that. It took us a while, but we managed to convince them to give us an opportunity. And why we were able to do that is to prove to them that it was non-toxic. That was first thing that we had to prove. The second thing we can prove is that it's an antioxidant. They wouldn't let us go any further than that because they weren't really sure. But they said, okay, it's an antioxidant, therefore, yes, you can do that. And all of a sudden, the product went from 0 to 100 miles an hour overnight because people are saying, I want to try it. I know someone who's got some issues. And they started this. And this is what Dr. A liked about working with an MLM company. And what he liked about it was the fact that he's not going to place this product, on a shelf somewhere, and hopefully someone will pick it up. He wanted some people to actually present the product, share a story, tell them what the product's all about. He felt that was the best way for him to get the word out.
David, I want to pause right there for a second again. Sorry, I think there's some
No, that's
important
okay.
stuff that we're covering. Because, you know, I think the direct sales industry, if you're brand new to it, is one of the most powerful industries that you could be a part of. Because how many times, and I kind of want everyone to participate here, how many times have you been into a Whole Food store or into some sort of supplement store and they have like 15 of the same product over and over and over and over, and you just don't know what to buy? And you're like, which one do I buy? Which one is good? And you kind of don't have the knowledge. And some of you are pretty good at reading labels, and some of you are horrible at reading labels, and you don't have the patience to read labels. You just kind of want someone to tell you what to take. And so one of the things that we didn't want to do is we didn't want another product that was just going to be sitting on the shelf, not doing anything. And for anybody who's ever used this product, they've seen results. Whether they got arthritis in their hands or knees or feet or body, whether it's someone with Parkinson's, whether it's someone with cancer, whether it's someone who's aging, whether someone who's got, you know, heart issues, whether someone who's got inflammation and pain in their body, someone who's overweight, someone who's going through menopause, high blood pressure, you name it, we got it. And so the most important thing is to use it. And David, this ingredient became so powerful that we decided to also include it and make other products with it. Like our shampoo conditioner, we put the Fountain of Life in it. Our Sterling, we put the Fountain of Life ingredient in there. We ended up developing other you know, skincare like the Sterling. We ended up creating our FERI Flawless, incorporating this raw material and ingredient because it was so good, whether it was internal or topical. And so the topical has become you know, that product that everybody uses for anything. I saw a friend over the weekend who had plastic surgery to her face, David, and she had got a facelift done, and the plastic surgeon had made a huge scar here that was what's that thing called when the skin starts to collide? I don't know what it's called. What happens to the skin when it's it starts to bubble or make a scar out of the scar?
Oh, you're getting keloids.
Keloids. Oh, thank you. I'm like,
yeah.
what is that word? Keloids. Thank you. So she was starting to get that. And I said, why don't you? She was just panicking because she had done cortisone injections. She had done all these things to it. I mean, this is your face. This is like your forehead. And anyway, she started doing this Fountain of Life. I saw her yesterday, David. Oh my God. Her scar has gone down. It has subsided so much. And she's like, Sanaz, what is this product? It worked. I'm like, well, yeah, that was the whole point. And so it was really, really powerful. And so let's talk a little bit about the topical element. I know you want to add something to that as well.
Yeah, when we talk about scars, one thing that post-operative scars in plastic surgery, what they'll use is silicone pads a lot of times. For breast augmentation and that, they've got these little strips that they'll put there to help the healing process. And what the silicone strips are supposed to do is align the collagen matrix in the skin. They're not sure how it works, but it's benign and it works for the majority of people. And if the scar is 5 years or less, they say silicone pads do work. I can't attest to that. I'm not really sure, but I've been, uh, I looked at that for years and I was just curious to see how that worked. However, what's different is that you can put Fountain of Life even on an old scar and it will make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not restricted by a 5 year, but on even new scars, if you place it on there, what it's going to do is align that collagen matrix again. And what it'll do is reduce the free radicals on there that are causing some of the scar formation. It will lower the inflammation in that area. So yes, if you post surgically, once it's healed, okay, please not on an open wound. Once it's healed, place it on there, and you start seeing some changes.
David, I'm personally, for those of you that may or may not know, about 6 years ago, I got bit by a dog on my face, a German Shepherd. I got 32 stitches to my face. I'm sure you guys can't tell I got 32 stitches to my face anymore. But I basically had this scar on my nose that he put his canine right into and couldn't get it out, couldn't get the scar out. And the Fountain of Life really made a big, big difference. So I also have a question, David, that came up in our chat that I'd like for you to respond to. Does the Sterling have any sun protection or UV protection?
No, it wasn't made for that. That's a different category of product. You know, SPS factors it's very specific, but no, it doesn't. It wasn't made for that. And when people say, why didn't you do that? Because that was not the objective of the product. Every product has an objective and what we're looking at. So when we add microsilver to it, the microsilver in sterling is a wonderful product for the entire for your hands, your entire body. Your peripheral area, it just lowers bacterial loads on our body. If you're diabetic, it's incredibly important for your feet, everything like that. So there's a different need for that. Okay, so that's why SPS they're a different animal, and I don't know if we're looking at that or not. I can't tell you because I don't know, but. Again, it's a different category.
Yeah. And
So,
the other thing as well, David, if we do put SPF, it also, the export becomes a little bit more complicated as well, right?
yeah, it does because, there's different rules for every country in the world. Even the EU, they have different rules for every country. Just because we go in the EU, it doesn't mean that there's a blanket that says for all EU countries, everything is okay. It doesn't work that way. We have to go to Germany, they have to go to France and Belgium, all these, one by one by one. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for everything. And it takes a lot of research, and you have to look at the government regulations that are involved. As far as topical applications for Fountain Life, it's sort of interesting that if you're as people started when we introduced it, adding it to the shampoos, conditioners, all that, and there was a wonderful acceptance of that. The optimal dose is 5%. Oh, you didn't have to pour the whole bottle in there, just 5%. So it's 5 mils for every 100 mils of product out there. And you'll start seeing some changes. And what it's going to do is reduce free radical activity on the scalp if you're using it in a shampoo or conditioner, on the skin if you're putting it in a cream. It's just that it's cleansing any free radicals that could be on there, causing your skin to look aged, anything like that. And we saw that. We saw people actually look better because of the addition of Fountain of Life in the formulation, and it gives you a little more protection from from free radical activity that can otherwise cause issues over time. It's not a panacea, but it does, there are people that benefited from that. Okay, but the other thing that's sort of remarkable, and this is purely anecdotal. A friend's mother had, she went through breast cancer, and she had radiation therapy as part of her treatment. And it was at a point where she could not afterwards, I think it was 5 weeks post beam radiation for 6 days a week, and she was in such pain. I remember him telling me that she couldn't even dress herself, and I asked him what they gave her, and he gave her some sort of cream with nano silver, colloidal silver in it, and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "I don't think it's going to work." Um, and he goes, "No, it's not helping her at all." So I gave him a bottle of Fountain of Life. And I asked him, I said, "Would you think she'd try it?" He goes, "Just make a 5% solution and place it on very gently. Maybe
Yeah.
put it in a spray bottle, just spray the area." And so she did. And you know what? In 3 days, she was able to dress herself again, pain-free, and go to the hospital. And when she told the doctor said, "That's amazing, our cream is working." And she said, "No, I stopped using it because it wasn't working." And they said, "Well, what are you doing now?" And she showed them this bottle of Fountain of Life. They go, "It doesn't work." And she goes, "No." And she got into a big argument with them. And the oncologist said, "I don't understand." They didn't want to talk about it because, doctors are doctors. They're very smart people. It's a very prestigious hospital they're at, but they refuse to listen. And she was frustrated by that, but I said, "That's very typical. We're talking about the smartest of the smart in certain settings, and they're not used to having a person with no medical background tell them what they've discovered, especially when it's a natural health product. And, they're quick to poo-poo it. And believe me, I've been in the medical field for my whole career, so I know when they're not used to seeing something, the first thing they go, it's not going to work, or it's lousy, or whatever. It's a knee-jerk reaction. I don't know why doctors are like that, but the majority are. And so
Yeah.
don't take it personally. If you show a doctor and they go, "It's not going to work," or it's all fake or whatever, just don't take it personally. Just remember that, you know, I was kicked out of almost every urologist office in Canada for 2 years straight until uh, the government stepped in and said, "By the way, his technology works." And I was selling a laser, and they said they told the doctors, "You should look at this, at least look at it, please." And they got these groups together, and they found out, oh, it does work, and all of a sudden, it's a standard of care across Canada now. So you don't take it personally. And these doctors that will say to you, "No, it doesn't work," or whatever, just be patient and understand that that's their nature. And they tend to be skeptical because they look at certain things as being fake or not working, whatever. And it takes time for them to understand. And that's fine because they are still smart people. We have to respect that. And what they know is medicine.
Yeah.
And this is new, and they're not going to adopt things really easily, especially on anecdotes. They like papers. However, having said all that, just remember that Fountain of Life has, incredible power topically. I've heard from a lot of people with, um, osteoarthritis that used it on their joints, and they said that they've had remarkable success with it. Um, I'm glad to hear that because osteoarthritis is just horrible. It's so debilitating, and it's not life-threatening, but it's something that I don't wish upon anyone because it's so hard to move around. And when I first came to Opulence, they were on the second floor. First thing I looked for was the elevator, which they said it doesn't exist. And I thought, I got osteoarthritis in my left knee. And I thought, this is going to be the most horrible thing to do on a daily basis to walk up these stairs. And it was challenging some days. And that's when I was taking 10 drops a day. And as soon as I started taking 30 drops, it changed. My life changed. I remember that
I
2018, that
remember
study
that
came
too.
out. I thought, oh my gosh, I could walk up without, getting to the top of the the stairs and sitting back and rubbing my knees for half an hour. All of a sudden, it did change, and it's remarkable how this product does work. And if you stop taking it, I'm not telling people to stop, but you can take it every day for the rest of your life without any ill effects. But if you stop, you're going to find that it will regress. You'll have a rebound effect, as doctors say, you know. And I
David,
love
is
that.
that just with FOL or is that with any sort of product? I want
It's a lot of it. Any product that's working for you, there's a
That's
rebound
right.
if you stop
That's
using it.
right. That's right.
And remember, we're not getting, unfortunately, we're not getting older, and we are being bought. And I have to remind people, since I've got the forum, I'm not trying to be preachy because I apologize if I sound preachy, but we're in literally a war against viruses right now.
That's
And
right.
if you're reading anything, look what's happening in Texas now, and it's spread over to New Mexico. There's a measles outbreak,
This is
and
crazy.
it's very serious. Measles is nothing to be to be saying it's not much. It's because more and more people are becoming unvaccinated. I think COVID has created um, a layer of skepticism about things, and I don't blame people for it because the way it was handled. But at the same time, uh, tried and true vaccines for against things like measles, people are not taking anymore. Now it's just broken out. I was looking at the death rate. Over 100,000 people around the world die each year from measles. And they said that the level of measles is growing right now. So on top of H5N1 and everything else, the new viruses that we're starting to see, be aware that we're being attacked constantly, 24/7 when you're sleeping, wherever you're walking. Doesn't matter where you are, we're being attacked. So it's important for us to support our immune system. That's our best line
And
of
David,
defense.
I want to touch base on that. That's really important because I think the COVID vaccine was definitely the most controversial vaccine in our life, I think, that we all went through. And some are vaccinated, some are not vaccinated, some believed in the vaccine, others, they fought against it and all that kind of good stuff. I remember having a conversation with my personal family doctor. He's been vaccinated 7 times between all his injections and boosters. And
Uh-huh.
I was one of those that I was like, you're crazy to my doctor. And we kind of argued back and forth on that. But the thing is that the reason there was so much controversy in regards to the COVID vaccine was there was just not enough time for testing or the proof. It was just an emergency vaccine that was approved. But I think a lot of these other vaccines, such as the measles that's been around for a long time and other stuff, I think it's really key and instrumental that we all have to understand vaccines or not, whether you're vaccinated or not, you're aging and you need to boost your immune system regardless. That's why as you age, it's also important the kind of foods you eat, the hydration that you have as well, which is really, really key to all the things that you do. So I think it's really, really important that we kind of supplement our bodies and supplement our immune system. By the way, this was one of the reasons that we developed the Divine supplement. Like David talked about, glutathione is one of those things that your body loses over time. And we've been able to build glutathione in there to really, really build up your immune system. So I don't want to take away from that as well, David. And I do have a question is there a notice on FOL about, there's a notice about FOL and consulting it with your doctor after so many days. Is that just a Health Canada requirement that's been?
Yes.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have to put it on there. It's part of Health Canada's safety on that because one thing that they want us to do is be thoughtful about what we're taking and why are we taking this, And at that point, they weren't sure what Fountain of Life was, so they said, please, put that on. It's a safety on their part because they weren't sure what it was. Or it's taken them like I mean we've been doing having this out for 7 years now, which is remarkable. But at the very beginning, if you imagine, they have no idea what a spruce tree extract is about and what it'll happen. I think they're concerned there might be a bunch of mod reports. A mod report is when people have interactions with it and they have to report it. There hasn't been one mod report, just so people know. It's been incredibly safe, but at the same time, our data showed it would be safe. At the same time, Health Canada is cautious, incredibly cautious. So, yeah, they wanted us to make sure that you have some checks and balances in this.
Absolutely. David, for FOL, for when it comes to menopause, does Fountain of Life make the symptoms easier, or just like HRT, does it postpone the symptoms? Great question. I'll have my answer too when you're ready.
Well, for menopause, what it's doing is it's a phytoestrogen. And so it will help balance out some of the symptoms of menopause when you're taking it. It is good for women going through menopause or postmenopause. It's really it reduces some of the symptoms associated with that. And there's been many a testimonial to that. There have been studies on that. How important lignans are in the excuse me, I apologize. Lignans are in the diet for menopausal and postmenopausal women. So it's a very good thing. And the other thing is that it doesn't mean men can't take it. When we say it is a phytoestrogen, men have estrogen in their systems. Phytoestrogens are very, very weak. It's not, and there is a balance of estrogen in everybody, whether you're male or female. Just like you have testosterone, whether you're male or female, we just have different levels. So for men, I just you understand that if you take Fountain of Life, your testosterone levels as we age actually go up. And why is that? Because we're not having a conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone, which leads to prostate issues, which leads to hair loss, all these wonderful things. We don't get prettier as you grow older sometimes. So, it does help with menopausal women, but it helps with men going the aging male as well.
I think, David, when it comes to menopause, we have so many phenomenal stories. And menopause, there's a lot of research coming out on it now. The lady that I work out with, she is a menopause expert, and I'm going to be doing a campaign for menopause in women, because I find that Fountain of Life has been that life changer when it comes to balancing out the hormones. And I believe that one of the biggest attributes of my weight loss is that it actually balanced out a lot of my hormones.
Mhm.
And most women, they don't know, a lot of women don't know that even premenopause starts in the 30s. And then, of course, gets a little bit, the symptoms become stronger in the 40s and then 50s, and then 60s is like, you're kind of like, get this thing out of my body, And it's something that a lot of women suffer from. So you could really bless a lot of people. I would highly recommend for everybody that's on this call to do some sort of menopause show. I know that I'm going to be really actively getting going as well, but you really, really need to get active when it comes to menopause, because it is definitely helping. I do want to share one testimonial with you, David, and everyone on this call. Our CEO, Ramin, his hair has, I don't know, it's becoming fuller. I mean, it happened when he started to use the Fountain of Life, but he's literally grown a new set of hair right at the top of his head. And ever since he's been on Divine, and he swears between using FOL, using Divine, and the shampoo conditioner. So, gentlemen and women, if you are looking for, looking younger, feeling more nourished, looking more youthful, growing your hair back, really get on all of the products, because we are prime examples, living proof of basically our product line. And it's become life changing for us, and it could be life changing for you. You just need to be consistent. You need to be on top of your game. You need to be, on these products. You need to be doing basically, changing all of your products to our Opulence products. David, last question for you. When using the microsilver spray on your hands, like Purell or I guess sanitizers, how long does it last before you need to spray it on your hands again? Great question.
No, number one, our microsilver spray was not designed for the skin. I want to be real clear because we make products for different reasons and different purposes. And it was never, Sterling was designed for our hands. But our microsilver spray was not, it's skin safe, but it was not designed for the skin. It was designed to cleanse bacteria and viri from different surfaces. It's a surface spray. So, number one, I just want to be real clear about that because we do have, if you want to place something on your skin, I would use Sterling. It's got emollients in there. It's got everything in there to help your skin health. It is designed to reduce, the viral load on your hands as well as the bacterial load. Microsilver is good for bacteria. And how long does it last? It lasts until you wash your hands, to be honest with you. Even if it's a spray, but please, like, I mean, cross-purposing is interesting, but you'll get more value if you use the breadth of the product and the way it was designed. And please put Sterling on your hands. It's a wonderful product. I use it every day. And
Yeah.
I work in a very harsh environment, so it keeps my hands somewhat good. But I work in a very
Not
tough
Opulence environment, by the way.
No, it's my own environment. But I work in a very tough environment, it's hard on the hands.
Yeah.
But I do, I got a big tube of Sterling at work and I use it every single day. So
Yeah. And I want to share with everyone when we discovered the microsilver spray, this was used in airports for during COVID season. And they were spraying down the airports to bring down the contagious rate out. So we put it in a spray. We recommend for you to spray it on your mask. That's what it was designed for, your clothes. We recommend for you to put it on your pet's clothing. Everyone should have it. When I go grocery shopping, I use it. When I'm at the gym, I spray down my machine. Karen says pillowcases. Yeah. I mean, look, it gets rid of odor. It gets rid of spray. My mom, when she had her surgery last month, David, based on what you told me, I look like a crazy person at the hospital spraying down those curtains inside her
no,
room.
that's a but if you take a look at the people walking in and out, you watch them. They're grabbing that curtain back and forth. They're not cleaning their hands. Doctors are, who knows? They're going from one patient to another.
Yeah,
Nurses are going from one patient, and hello, how are you? Open the
yeah,
curtain. They don't
yeah,
wash their hands,
yeah, yeah.
and
I mean, they sanitize those beds really, really well.
they
But
do.
I mean, you're right, they don't sanitize a curtain. So
No, I
honestly, your
talked to
microsilver spray is so instrumental.
yeah. Why I talked to an infection control expert at the UHN years ago, and they said that's one of the areas of concern is the hospital curtain as being a source of cross contamination. So if we have any medical professionals on here, like nurses or anyone that works in a hospital, you've got a microsilver spray there that will help.
Wow.
And it's long lasting.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's amazing, and I think we definitely need to get more of these stories out. I actually just had in my women's chat group, Carolyn, I'm gonna kick your butt. I can't believe you haven't shared this story earlier. So you know how I just shared the story about our CEO's hair growing, David?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
ladies and gentlemen, well, Carolyn Chung, she's laughing at me because you could just feel it, huh, girl? Carolyn Chung, from June of 2024 to November of 2024, has been using the Divine product. And girl, I don't know why you're not screaming from the mountaintop talking about this, but can you guys see that?
Wow,
That does not do justice, but
that's amazing.
Yeah, in 5 months.
That
Carolyn,
is
share
amazing.
that on social media so that you can tag it. Go put it in our chat group of FOL. And if you've been talking about it, I've never heard of it. So that means it's not online. If it's not online, that means I've not heard of it. So that is what's happening with Divine. Actually, I got our CEO to agree for me to do the same picture for him from before and after. And I am going to do one as well. And I'm going to see, Caroline, can you add a picture into the chat? I think if you're in my chat group, women's chat group, you can see it, but no, I can't share it. No, she shared it in the women's chat group. I have someone needs a picture of this. I don't know how to do that. Me too, on Zoom. Well, you know what? I want you to go share this picture on Facebook in our Fountain of Life and Divine on the Divine testimonial page and just share it. Your post is perfect. You have the product, you have your before and after and how long you've been using it. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have a testimonial, please, 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 for the love of God, share your testimonials, share your stories, share your inspiration with others. Be loud. Don't forget this upcoming Friday, we have our presentation in Toronto. Don't forget this upcoming weekend, we have our Forensic Networker program, which I cannot wait to see each and every single one of you. And with that, I will pass it on to my superstar host to close off the call. David, thank you for always being on and being my partner in crime for the past 7 years.
Yes. Oh my goodness. What a productive call we had today. I love it. I love it, SVV and David as well for the insight of FOL 70 years anniversary. Of course. Oh my goodness. You know what? The thing that it reminded me of while we are having the call yesterday, Saturday, we had a event, Somali a business event, and one of the ladies she walked and I explained about the lignin source, right? How important it is that we're missing our diet. And then she said, "You know what? I'm suffering arthritis on my knee." I'm like, "That's great." You know, I know my business partner Ifra, her mom used to suffer, and after 3 weeks, it was gone. Oh, really? She didn't believe it, of course. So anyway, and then she said, "You know what? I have heartburn, and nothing works on me. I have always 7 Up in my bag," and she literally had a small 7 Up in her bag. She's like, "I have to take this. This is my only solution." I'm like, "No." Anyway, at the end, I explained everything. I gave her all the benefit. Still, she walked away. And then, as we do, we follow up right the next day. So Sunday, I texted her. I said, "I appreciate for coming to our table, and I know you were interested in the FOL. Would you want to come to our Tuesday showcase?" Anyway, she's like, "No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in the product or the business. Have a good day." I'm like, "Okay." So my question, SVP, if you have a short minute, what do I do with people like that? Because I did give her the examples, the benefit. She even took the flyer, the FOL flyer, but still rejecting it.
I love, love, love questions like this because this is how you guys are going to learn how to deal with objections. You have to remember that, first of all, there's a lot of products out in the market. And for us to convince the customer, it's about passion and excitement. So you did all the right things. You did the right thing with introducing her. You did the right thing with sharing a testimonial. You did the right thing of basically following up. You did a lot of great steps. Mm-hmm. But the thing that you needed to do is, if you guys are having a show, is how about getting them to try it on the spot? Because if she's having heartburn, get her to try it.
Oh, I forgot to mention, she did try on the boot camp. Yeah, at the event.
So she came to the boot camp?
Yes.
Oh, she sat through the training?
No, sorry. I mean, like our Saturday table. That's what I call boot camp.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Sorry.
I was gonna say because
no.
I think that's really great. And then I don't know if you guys have all seen our VIP builders. They're small little bottles. They're about the little ones. And if you really believe that it's going to bless a customer, give them out. That's what the purpose of them is. So I would still, again, share with her more testimonials. And I would just basically say, you know what? I understand you're not interested at this time. There's a lot of products out there. Would you be okay if I sent you some customer testimonials when I receive them and follow up with you just to show you what is happening to many of my customers? And so then I would just basically share a lot of testimony. Look, you don't want to try to convert people to try to convince them. Your job is to share. Your job is to be excited. Your job is to share the testimonials. Your job is to follow up with them. Your job is to add them to the Facebook page that I was just sharing with Carolyn, to add her testimonial there. Because and honestly, being loud. I got to tell you guys, I've been posting about Fountain of Life for 7 years. And I had somebody yesterday for the first time say, by the way, I've been seeing that oil that you guys are posting. What is that thing? I post FOL every single week on my social media. And this person says, oh, I saw that oil. And I said, well, it's not an oil, it's a supplement. And so I started to talk about it. I also was at a birthday on Saturday, and there was a gentleman that Karen Henry met 15 years ago. I guess she had introduced him to the product and the business, and he did nothing. He was just not interested. Him and I have some mutual friends, so we got to know each other. He's like, oh, you're that FERI girl. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I know Karen Henry. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, you know, I would love to find out some more information. So I think business is a lot about relationships. And I want to share with all of you that in business, you need to go find like-minded people. You're going to have two different types of crowds. You're going to have the crowd that you want to sell the product to. And if there's a need for it, they'll be hungry enough to buy it from you. And the second type of person you're looking for is people that are going to build a business with you. These are people that inspire you, that you want to work with. These are not, you know, somebody who's a deadbeat, who's absolutely broke, who doesn't have $10 to their name, that they can't even, you know, put the money together to join your business. You want to find people that are entrepreneurial, that are hungry, that want change, that want to make money, that are going to hustle with you, that are going to bustle with you. So, and these are the kind of people that I'm going to be focusing on this year myself. I'm going to run lots of ads because I want to be able to attract some of the like-minded people like myself that I'm going to bring into this business too.
Amazing, amazing. You know, that's a great reminder to never give up, even though she declined. But thank you, Sanas. That's amazing advice. And also, yeah, getting people who really want to run with you, not the ones that are complaining about $10, you know?
Absolutely.
I agree with that. Yes.
You know,
Perfect.
one thing, Ricky, I know you're quite new in this industry. There's something called a broke mentality. And when you have a broke mentality where you are always thinking about when your next $10 is going to come, you're going to always stay broke. And I hate to say this is going to sound maybe some mean to some people, but it's the truth. I've been around, I have a lot of successful friends. I have a lot of successful business partners around me. These guys make, some of them make 100,000, some of them make millions of dollars. And I got to tell you, they're very, very, very cautious with who they let inside their inner circle, because your network is going to become your net worth. Always, always, not just you, but everyone that's on this call, try to surround yourself around people that are better than you. Try to surround yourself around people that are making more money than you. Try to put yourself around people that are ambitious, because if you're going to be, you know, around a bunch of ghetto people that are going to hustle you for $10, they're not going to buy your product from you. They're not going to reorder from you. They're not going to have that mentality of making money with you, and it's just going to drag you down. But if you surround yourself around people that are ambitious, that want to build, that want to grow, that want to, you know, make a change in their life. And if they're making $1,000 a week, now they want to make 5,000. If they're making 5,000, they want to make 10,000. That's what's going to push you to go to the next level in life.
Wow, wow. I love it. I love it. You know, broke mentality, Ifrah reminded me that a long time ago, because I had a couple of customers and slash business partner. who was complaining about the fee that we had to pay for our Tuesday showcase, which was $10. I'm like, what? Okay. So that's where the broke mindset come from. So I agree. Thank you, SVP. That was amazing for your advice. I hope everybody got that down. I definitely gonna try. I'm not gonna give up my prospect, testimonial page or Facebook. Definitely, I'm gonna add her there if she responds. But we will see. Thank you, SVP.
Absolutely.
Um, and that's all. Thank you for tuning in with us with Product Crossfire. Thank you so much. It was amazing. I learned a lot as usual. Yes, thank you, SVP. I appreciate for being here and sharing with us all your detail. You're inspiring me always. I love your energy. So thank you, SVP.
Thank you so much, my darling. I'm so proud of you, and you are so amazing on these calls. I love having you on. Congratulations to you. I know you're going to rise up and go to the next level, and I love seeing you grow and evolve because you come from no experience in this industry. You come from nursing background, yet you've become such a tremendous student. You're passionate, you're coachable, you're still a student, and I know that you're going to become a phenomenal coach to many phenomenal people around you. So I'm so proud of you. Keep it up. Keep all the questions coming. Keep on asking and learn from it, and to the billion. And I'll see you next weekend.
Yes, see you next weekend for sure. Thank you. So, Uplands Nation, good morning, good evening, good night. Thank you for tuning in and have a good rest of your day. As we say to the billion, bye.
Billion, bye bye.